Hello everyone, it is Roger with the November Q&A for our Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind, and here we go with the answers to everyone's questions. So thanks for the questions. Pretty interesting actually that this month all of the questions are yellow level. I think we've got like 2 green and that's pretty much it, right? So everything is all around how do I run my promotion, how do I get my product range together, all of that as we go as well. And just in case you're wondering where I am and what I'm doing, I will show you. I am now in South Africa where we have an event happening right here in Port Elizabeth. Here is the view out here. And there were some dolphins out here this morning, which was very exciting. We have got our event here. We just had an event in Durban, and then I'm going to be heading over to our Tau Game Reserve where we have got our investor retreat. So like all super exciting stuff. So I hope you're having a great time wherever you are in the world. Let's jump right into the questions, and we are going to kick it off first of all with Jacqueline Pigden. So we have Jacqueline here, and here's what Jacqueline says. She says, here we go. Hi, Roger. We are organizing the 40th anniversary party for the sewing school and have lots of ideas to make it amazing. For example, we are going to include a fashion parade for students to make an outfit and showcase their creations. We'd like to raise money for a scholarship for the kids, for the sewing club, and also what type of model do you recommend and tips for us to launching a scholarship opportunity and leveraging from it in the sewing school? Thank you. Well, this is something we do a lot. I mean, we did this when we had our Green School Greenest Student on Earth Award, which we actually ran using WooBox online on Facebook. So that's kind of the tool we used. So everyone could actually all get involved in the competition together and vote for their favorite. We also ran one for, or quite a number of them actually, for the students that were all part of our Green Supercamp, right? So that was another thing that we did. And even when we did things like our junior school educators, we ran it as a scholarship program. So every time we run one of those, we make it really straightforward. You'll see some of our landing pages where you can kind of like go and see how we actually set it up as a competition. People will either send in and register, right, enter in information, or if you want to do it as a voting thing, you can do that too. Like you could do it where people could actually enter in and the reason that they actually want to win, or even for the kids sewing club, like having it in some way where people are actually able to kind of like share whatever is their kind of like best designs, that kind of thing, by actually putting it together and then actually making sure that there is very, very clear, number one, instruction on what you want them to do, very, very clear, number two, prize of what the payoff of them doing this is, and very clear, number three, time frame of when it needs to be done by, is the 3 most important things to put in place, and then get it out there and make it really, really clear to people they should go and share it with other people, because often the people that will be the ones that actually enter are not the ones that saw it firsthand, but they're the ones that saw it because someone referred it to them as well. So you've got to have that as all part of your messaging. All right, let's come over to Nina next. Nina Fountain. Hi, Roger. I am at a point where I have maxed out my time to get from here and closer to team. I am looking at changing my service delivery from one-to-one delivery towards group classes and workshops or talks. Any other ideas for service delivery models that would work for my style of consulting work? Okay, thank you. So definitely, Nina, I know that because you're already going to be working together with Radka and with Atairu, because you're very focused at the corporate market, which again, this is for anyone else who's kind of listening as well, if that's your market, or at least entrepreneurs moving up into the corporate market. Always remember that leverage is going to come in either multiply or magnify, which is how you actually get your time back. Multiply is when you turn it into products, you turn it into online, digital, and then basically it's working without you. Whereas magnify is where you are still there, you're still delivering, but you've got others around you, which allow you to actually do things in scale in terms of numbers at a time. So in your case, 100% number one, workshops, right? Like doing workshops where you have a schedule of workshops where like every 3 months, for example, which can eventually become monthly, people know when the workshop's going to happen and you invite people along to that. And then of course, that by doing that where you're then providing services, which also are services where you're using workshops, where there's groups, that's 100% the first way to do it. Second way to do it is through a mastermind, right? Where you've actually got a group of people together where they all are paying a certain amount of money. So for your time, you've got 20 people paying for your time or 10 people paying for your time instead of one person, right? And then that's also the second way to do it. I would just focus at those two to start with, workshops and masterminds, until you've got those two going really well. Then you can be thinking of other things that you can actually do in terms of cross-company programs. Obviously, Tyro itself is a mastermind of sorts, but it's doing it in a cross-company way. And there'll be other processes like the ones you see we do, where we run retreats where people all come together, where we run mentoring at a high level, like Crystal Circle, where everyone comes together. And of course, Gem here, where it's my time once, but then there's many people that then get the value of all of it. And even when I'm answering your questions, others are getting the value from those answers as well. All right. Okay, Naomi has got, Naomi's one of the green level ones. I'm going to come back to Naomi. Let's come over to Sajid here. Sajid says, started my Facebook ad campaign, had 333 impressions, no conversions yet. Will change ad copy at 1,000 impressions. Any suggestions for good ads that convert well? Sajid, the best thing to do is go to Adespresso, Adespresso, and you will find all of the best ads there. Adespresso basically collects all the Facebook ads. You can go search for any particular type of Facebook ad, they'll give it all to you, right? It's all there. And what I would also say is up the numbers faster. I mean, like, you're not really going to get any kind of sample size until you get at least 10,000 impressions. So being able to kind of up the numbers to start seeing the statistics and how they work is really important. And then from there, you're going to get an idea from those conversions of what you're looking for. Also, really make sure that you're not trying to get people to buy something from you through your first round, right? We never do that on ours. We always make sure the first part of the ad campaign is to get people to get something for free. They're either going to download something for free, they're going to join a free webinar, they're going to do something for free, right? Because if they're not willing to give you time, they're not going to give you money either. And then from that, we'll then retarget those same people and ask if they've actually got value from us, whether it's from the download or whether it's from a webinar or something like that. They then, in the repeat, when they get retargeted, then going, oh yeah, I remember this. And then you can actually give them an offer of some sort, right? And sometimes they've got to see things 2, 3, 4 times before they've got enough value to actually say, okay, that was worth my time. Now I'm going to make it worth my money, right? So just be really clear about that as well. But good you got started. That's the key thing, right? Okay, we're going to come over next to Gabby here. Hello, Roger. Thanks for the advice last video. Indeed, I'm getting involved with the girl movement, as you mentioned. See link to the Rights Info UK for the 100-year women's suffrage with the image of Mini Gabby voting. So that's awesome. So you left a link in there, which is great. Also collaborated with TEDx London, free periods campaign for free sanitary products to girls on low income who missed school during that time of the month, amongst other collaborations. This has been great, but a slow process as I don't have millions of followers and I have been doing organic posts on my socials. The street art is cool, mostly in Shoreditch. I am looking for bigger, more central wall, but there is a lot of competition. Unfortunately, I've got some jealous artists sending me nasty comments and destroying one of my street pieces. You say very sad. I think that's awesome. I think it's like the more you actually have people out there that are reacting in that way to what you're doing is a good thing, right? That's very cool. So how could I now reach a bigger audience? I know I'm not Banksy, made me laugh, but also no Beyonce. Should I start doing paid posts or hire a PR person? And I have one more group show this year, but starting to plan a solo show for next year. Many thanks as always. Okay. Well, first of all, don't get PR. I don't think you need PR. In terms of paid posts, you definitely should be trying that because people really relate to what you have to say, and the only issue is you aren't getting out to enough people, right? So by actually having something that you're getting people, even just getting paid posts to get people to your community. But if you've got a program or something that you're doing that you can actually already get people to be actually joining a movement of some sort, where you're actually getting people. Like, for example, talking about things like the Free Periods campaign, right? That people are going to get to hear about this stuff, but then they actually get to see, Mini Gabby in there as well, right? The Rights Info UK, women's suffrage, like all of these different things that you're doing. I think that the more that you are getting people aware of Mini Gabby, and then the fact that they can then get themselves and even doing posts that can go viral in terms of like Mini Gabby in images that get posted on your on your page, which has got a really cool quote or got a really cool message which people are going to want to share, and then getting that out to people, something that will show some great statistics which makes people go, yeah, I want to share this with my friends. And so as a result, everyone starts seeing Mini Gabby as basically a messenger for the movement, right? That's what you really want to be doing. So people then relate to it, and then when you then have a product of some sort, you're looking for people to actually get involved in, whether it's a great print of some sort, then it's so much easier to do that as well. So I think you definitely should be doing that. I think that collaborations is the other way to go, right? Pick out who are the top people that you would say are the ones that to you represent Mini Gabby in real life most, right? Like, who are those people? Post stuff about them together with Mini Gabby, right? Like, have a picture of them doing something awesome together with Mini Gabby in your commentary, right? And then people then, share that as well and start following Mini Gabby because of the people that you represent, or the message that you're actually representing as well. That's what I think you do. At the end of the day, your audience will keep growing, and it'll grow not because of Mini Gabby, it'll grow because of what Mini Gabby represents, right? It's just keeping that real clarity between the difference of those two. Really, really important. Okay, Mark Robinson. Australia switches off for the summer holiday shortly, and I don't want to lose momentum. Which country would you look to target for online summits over the next 3 months? So we definitely spoke about that on the group call as well, and I said that there are a number. We did this on Chris Circle Call too. There's a number of ways to solve the issue of like the Christmas period, right? The first thing is knowing people are always in a giving mode. So it's the best time to be able to give something to people to give to other people, right? So it's like, so we always do some kind of a promotion in terms of giving a gift of some sort. Give the gift of wealth to someone in 2019 by getting them basically this kind of free guide, or to give them this free pack. This tool that normally costs this much money, we're giving for free to people that you want to send this out to. So it actually then is a lead generating way to bring people on board, and then in January it's really easy to then actually go to those same people that just got lots of value and offer them something really awesome off the back of it, right? Going to your existing people who already are your raving fans and adding something in addition that they can then actually be getting from you as well also works really, really well. Going to people and actually showing them what your raving fans and the people that already have done business with you this year, and show them what great things are coming next year, and give them a super duper offer to actually come on board and work with you. So these are all things that don't even require you having to go to a different country. Outside of that, obviously going to a different country can help, right? So we know that come January, and in fact even December, the UK and the US are places where it's not the same as Australia or New Zealand, where they're on summer holiday, right? I mean, they're in the winter, and they're actually, for a lot of them, January is the perfect time. It's kind of like the whole new start to the new year, that you've actually got like the very, very beginnings of people thinking, okay, how do I actually get myself back in shape, ready for the new year? So there's always things you can do during that time. And in terms of like running a summit of some sort, that's possible to do in January. We're running a number of our events in America in January, right? So that's what we're doing there. We're running a number of our events in UK in December, right? So we have those things going, and then we have our own programs that we're running, like our Genius U annual conference and our master trainer programs that are happening in Bali in the middle of December as well, right? So we're not really slowing down that much through the Christmas period by just getting connected to these different areas. So I would say if I was you and you want to go for a summit in a different place, UK or Europe is definitely best choice number one, US choice number two, although it gets kind of noisy over there with summits. We have Renske here, who says, I've talked to a couple of customers that I'm close to, and I've come to the conclusion that my idea for a green platform is not going to work in the way I thought it might. The educational supply industry is a peculiar one. Purchasing is not a strength of the people in the office whose job it is. When sales reps go into the centers, they show their specials, and the girls just buy what's on offer as it's easier for them. Although you would think they'd leap at the chance to get supplies at a much cheaper cost, their inexperience in buying and the fact that it's not their primary job means that the alignments they have with supplies is very strong, as it is based on convenience. I was told several examples of how price is not important, rather than convenience of dealing with people they already know determines their buying. So I guess I'm back to square one. Any suggestions? Yeah, Redscape, you may not be talking to your exact customer. I mean, like, whenever you have any new platform that's going to disrupt the market, and there's no question at all, that having a platform that's got ethical toys that are going to be educational for your kids, and at the same time are helping someone in a third world country or in a developing country, and in the same way is great for the environment. I mean, it's a no-brainer that that's going to take off, and no one's doing that well right now. So just keep at it, and know that there's going to be already parents who are going to want to buy from you. There's going to be more and more schools that are going to want to buy from you. And the people that are at the moment saying, well, I'm not interested in price. I'm just going to go with who I know already because it's more convenient for me. Well, they're your laggards. They're not the people who are your early adopters anyway. So, I mean, for anyone here who hasn't read the book Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore. Jeffrey Moore. If you go read that book, which is really the beginning of like the tech industry is when that came out, Crossing the Chasm talks about the entire market in terms of different people at different stages. You have the early adopters who are always the ones that are looking for the very, very best thing, and they're willing to go and start something new. And that's your market to start with, right? And then after the early adopters, which are kind of like the pioneers that will come in and try anything, you then have the early majority, right? And the early majority are basically the guys that are like, okay, if I can see some other people doing it and there's evidence it's a better way to do it, then I'll come and do it as well. right? And then from the early majority, there's kind of like this chasm before you get to the late majority, which is basically the ones that are kind of never going to try anything new unless everyone else they know is already doing it. And then eventually at the very, very end, you've got the laggards, who are the ones that are going to be the very last to try anything because they just find they're just too lazy to do anything unless basically there's a fear of missing out. And then it's like, oops, I better go do it then. Right? So it sounds to me like you've been speaking to a few of the people at the very end who are the kind of people who would say, don't care about the environment, don't care I'm going to get it cheaper, don't care about the fact that it's ethical, don't care about the fact that it's actually better for my child, don't care for the fact that it's actually something which is going to help people in a third world country. I'm just going to stay doing what I already do with everyone else. So that's what you're pretty much saying. That does not mean the market works that way. It means some of the people you're speaking to works that way, but that does not mean that you don't have a good idea, and you've got to stick with the fact that your idea will beat those people that are actually thinking that way eventually. And you've got to go out and say, right, well, I'm going to go find my first 10. You don't need a million. Just my first 10 people that actually really get what I'm trying to do and really support what I'm trying to do, and will give me feedback as I actually put it together to say, do these things now fit? Do these products that I put on board, the way I do the platform, does that fit with my mission, which is to actually bring this to others, right? And I think that it might be that when you're going speaking to some of the people you're speaking to, they may not be that clear or aware of what your mission is and the point of why you're doing it. Because I find it really difficult to imagine that you'd actually go and explain what you're trying to do in such a way that someone else goes, I don't care, I'm still going to do the thing I'm doing because it's just more convenient for me, right? And remember, like even people who are trying to ban plastic, right? People who basically, are the ones who, were the ones that began the whole healthy food movement, who are like, we shouldn't all go and eat fast food. Plenty of people said, well, I'm still happy with McDonald's, right? My kid likes Happy Meals, right? Plenty of people said that, which is why McDonald's has kept on going for so long before they eventually now have had to change. But for every one person who was saying that, there was a whole bunch of other people who were saying, well, actually, I do want something more healthy. I do believe in what you're doing if you can actually make my child more healthy. And so they were the ones that actually moved across first, right? So you will kick yourself if you don't do this, and then basically in 5 years' time or 4 years' time, you see someone else who just followed through when you could have easily done it. And then as a result of them, they've now got themselves a $100 million business. You're thinking, geez, why did I give up so quickly, right? So that's my advice to you, Rensky, but for everyone else who's listening on your business idea, do not let early obstacles get in the way of a good idea, all right? Really important. Wuntan, anytime Lab Express next week, can't wait. Yeah, I saw Wuntan in Bali, just working on a brand new product page for outsourcing of podcast editing, production, and publishing work. Where would consulting work go? The personal website or a separate page in itself? Also, do you know if the hub hygiene and hero strategy for audio podcast content would work? It's something I would love to test out, and also I'd love to work with you to create a bigger podcast presence if this aligns with your content strategy. Wuntan definitely does. I think I mentioned this to you already. We definitely want to have all of our content on podcasts. So I think that's definitely a yes for me on that one. In terms of the product page, you definitely want to have a very, very specific product page, which is for each of your offerings. So like having one which is for the podcast, quite different from the one which is all about how you go about editing, production, and publishing work for podcasts. You definitely want to have that separate. You want to link them to your personal website so people can see where they are, but you still need to have a separate page, which is the conversion page, which makes people go, okay, I'm getting all the information I need to actually be able to buy from this page, right? Super important to know the difference of those two. And in terms of Hub, Hygiene, and Hero, we talked about that on a previous call. That's all about basically the YouTube model, so it's much more for video, but it works for audio as well. Obviously, there's not a huge amount you can do in terms of the hero strategy, which is where with video, hero is the viral stuff which you're going to have with like incredible like production quality. People want to share with other people, but you can still go hero by having a number of celebrity podcasts, right? That's still hero. 100% with Hub, which is basically the how-tos, which people are going looking for those things, how-tos, or can be also very much podcast-based, and hygiene, which is about like speaking to your base. That can also be through a number of them. So you definitely can use the same model, which I would recommend. For Marie Rizika, she says, excited that you are coming to the US. I'm excited too, as the events are right after the first of the year. What have you seen are the best holiday season strategies to use to share your work in a country that doesn't know you yet? And also, is there a video of yours that has traction? Yeah, well, the good thing is, like, Marie, I think one of the best things is that if you take what I just said earlier to Mark around the whole giving strategy, to be able to actually go out there and actually give people something, even if you take a whole bunch of the tools that we have, like the passion test, the purpose test, and you actually give that out as a gift to people together with like a little session with you, right? You get to so many of the right people, do it with the Genius test, right? And then link that in with Wealth Dynamics. It gives you a really, really great way for people to go, oh, that's a really cool way for me to actually already get some real great value from you before I start the new year. It's kind of interesting, like some people are talking about what is the best gift that you can give people this Christmas season. And many people, they say the best gift you can give people is your time, right? Because time is the most precious asset today. So for you to say, look, I'm actually giving you like this session as a gift from me to you for basically being one of my top clients or for being in my community, and giving them a time to do it before Christmas time, and then giving them the ability to then actually have a conversation, help them map out and plan their year ahead. That's a huge gift, right? And people really appreciate that either way. And then from there, then you get to hear about what you're going to be doing in January, coming along for the event and all of that as well. So that then actually links into all of that, which would be very, very cool. That's what I would do something that's gift-based. And then in terms of my videos and what has traction, yeah, I mean, actually the easiest way is if you go to YouTube and you basically just type in Roger Hamilton. YouTube already selects the top ones. And of course, YouTube has the smartest filters, right? So if you actually just put in Roger Hamilton, you get all my videos and you can go in and actually sort them by whichever ones are the most popular and you'll see them all there, right? So there's a whole bunch of different ones that have been in there that have got like hundreds of thousands of views, and you just choose the ones that you like best, that you think fit your audience best, and kind of go from there. Okay, we have Glenn here, right? So Glenn Kenworthy, number one, I need to start work on a promotion plan. Is there a template that Michelle or Suraj have developed to get me started? I'm truly time poor this month, but of course I have masses to get done. The answer is yes, there is, Glenn. If you go to the micro degree, which is the orange to yellow micro degree, which is all about startup, which is on Genius U, and you go directly into there, and if you want a shortcut and go straight to the stage which says monetize your moment, you go into that stage, you do the assessment, or you just click on next, and you'll see that there is a playbook that you can download. That playbook has a template in it of a promotion plan. So it means you can just go straight in and run the promotion plan, right? Number two, I've received 2 business pitches from founders already, but they don't fit the target profile we envision for our launch. Should we open our target or be very focused on the type of pitch we accept in the early days? And if we turn them down, are we potentially missing opportunity? You definitely do not just go with them because they happen to come across your desk. There are thousands of pitches every day that show up in the market. You do not want to kind of like, or suddenly, as soon as you say, this is what we're going to do, move off to something else. It's like going to a restaurant and someone says, right, that's it, we're a French restaurant. And then the person shows up and says, what do you want? I feel like a curry. Okay, I'll make you a curry. And suddenly you're an Indian restaurant. That's like, no, keep focused at what you actually have said you're going to do. It's tempting because you've got opportunities coming your way, but they just don't fit your market. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you might be missing opportunity, because you could say, well, who do I know who would be the kind of people who might be interested in these, right? And then maybe you've got other people that you know of, or you can go find people that you know within your investment community that would be interested in something like this and say, hey, I just want to pass this your way. And at the same time, the reason we're not going for it is because we're very focused at the whole medtech side. And if you have anything medtech side, you can pass it back our way, right? So you still end up being able to make something of the opportunity, but still it's based on what you're focused at rather than the tail wagging the dog, and before you know it, you're off doing something that isn't even your core business, and then things get very, very unfocused very quickly, right? Okay, we got Anna Choi here. Heading to iLove Express this Friday too. So good. Currently launching my second cohort for Client Accelerator for Conscious Entrepreneurs from January 7th, 2019. We have 10 out of 30 spots filled already, so that's awesome. Well done. Star profile, yellow level. To fill the rest of the spots, I have a speaking engagement in mid-December and partnership with the Social Impact Co-working Space Impact Hub to mass email members in the community to leverage enrollments and split the revenue, and a 5-day Facebook challenge mid-December, and will predictably get 5 to 7 enrollments altogether from these efforts. However, looking to create a chunk of 10 to 15 enrollments versus one by one, any ideas of how to leverage a marketing opportunity in 6 weeks? Great, Anna. Okay, good. Yes, the way to bulk outside of a one-to-one is by going up the leverage chain to more like a small one-to-many model. And there's a number of ways to do it, right? The most obvious way is webinars, right? So by basically getting a webinar together of people where they're going to hear it all together. Now, from a webinar together, if you just say to them, hey guys, just go book up. It depends on what price point you've got. If you've got a price point of a couple of $100s, you can get them to just book up straight away. But if the price point is something which is more like $1,000 or more, you do still need to actually speak to people one-on-one to begin with, right? Until you become very well known and everyone's just willing to jump in. So I definitely would be doing something where even on a webinar, you're getting people to book spaces with you where you can then have another conversation, make sure it's very, very focused, and then get them signed up. But at least it will still create a far better way for you to actually capture them all in one place. Similarly, working with a co-working space like Impact Hub, the other thing you can do is a real-life event, having a little workshop, having everyone come on board for an evening with an hour and a half, 2 hours with you. You're going to give them some great value. You're going to give them basically tools that are going to make them say, I want to have more of this. And then from that, you stay behind with the people that really are keen to do something with you. Again, you can book them down for separate sessions with you, or if you feel confident enough to actually be able to tell them all at that point, here's how you can come and join us, get them in and enrolled that way, right? And by far, those are the two easiest, simplest ways to actually get, instead of one person at a time, more like 5 people at a time that can be booking up with you. And the final thing I'd say about it is be really clear, like you got 10 out of 30, like, be clear there's only so many spots. So people don't buy from you because they like your product, because they can like your product and still decide to buy from you tomorrow. They buy from you because there's a cost of missing out. Really important this, right? Because even if someone wants to buy from you and they see the benefit of buying from you, there's still a discomfort that comes from having to take out your wallet and pay something, right? And until the discomfort of not acting is greater than the discomfort of acting, people don't act. And so if someone kind of says, oh, that's a really nice thing, I'd love to have that, but there's actually no discomfort in not deciding now. Like, by not deciding now, they can always decide tomorrow, right? Then of course they're going to wait until tomorrow. But if on the other hand, they're like, oh no, you know what? Like if I wait until tomorrow, it might not be there anymore. If I wait until tomorrow, then the opportunity is no longer available. If I wait until tomorrow, then I might end up with a worse seat on the plane, or a worse spot in the concert. Like, people decide faster if they know there's a consequence of missing out. So make sure there's that consequence. Make sure that you're actually saying, look, there's only these many spots. Tell people why you'd love to have them on board. Get them on board based on the fact that there is a limit of some sort. And then from there, you're always going to find that people make a decision much faster, and it allows you to actually fill it up, and then it's done, right? So whatever your target is, like you've got a target of 5, make that a limit. Say, I've only got 5, right? It's the same thing. There's only 5 there. But instead of you saying you're trying to get to 5, say you've only got 5, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it starts to fill up, because then others jump into those spots, right? This is the difference of you standing on the station waiting for the train to come compared to being the train coming in the station with only so many seats on the train and everyone jumping on. Okay, so Neil Fellows, and that's, by the way, the nature of a promotion, right? Neil Fellows says here, question, still exploring the palace with 1,000 doors. Are you suggesting we now link up with some of our providers, drive traffic to their pages and take a commission, create success stories and invite others to join in, or have people pay us to work with them to improve or create offers, then drive traffic, then create success stories, etc., or something else? Thanks. Yeah, Neil, I mean, I know I've given you many times, right, the TripAdvisor example or the Amazon example. In both those examples, you'll see that TripAdvisor and Amazon have been busy promoting other people's businesses on their sites. So Amazon never promotes a homepage on Amazon. They always promote a book, or they always promote a product. And they'll do that themselves. I've gone and looked at a book on Amazon, and then I go back to Facebook and I'll see the ad for the same book. And it's not the author who's put that ad in there. It's Amazon that put the ad there, right? Because they're looking to bring people back, and they're looking for people to buy to that page. TripAdvisor does the same thing. So in your case, it's about saying, okay, well, when I get someone to have a page on my Total Wellness, then what am I then doing to say to them, hey, you put a page on there, I'm going to promote it? Or how do you actually get the top 10 people that you're going to then promote, right? And then, or you actually do a campaign together with the top people you have. And every one of them is a door into your platform, but every one of them is people coming to your pages based on you doing a collaboration with whoever it is that you're bringing on board as well, and giving them the result off the back of it. So we do that on Genius U, right, where every single page is an opportunity. So when someone ever got an event on there, we'll support their event. Right? We've got all our city leaders that put their events on there. We've got our own events on there as well. We'll have products on there like microdegrees. We'll help passion test with their microdegree and get people onto that as well. So once we've got the content from someone, we can then really go out and help promote it and then get great results. And then that basically success breeds success. Others go, oh, I want to get that result as well. So then they come on board and actually work the same way. So that's what I mean about a palace with 1,000 doors. Jasper says here, hi Roger, what are the essential steps in building community? Target group is executive level business people. Your thoughts on this would be much appreciated. Well, interesting you should mention this actually, because we actually have at the moment something launching this week, which some of you I'm sure will see, which is our 4 keys. So the 4 keys on mentoring success is set up to launch in January, and it's basically, and we're kind of talking about at the Genius U annual conference as well, and it's where we go through what the 4 keys are of anyone who's going to be a mentor to really scale their business to 6-7 figures, right? And the first key is digital marketing. It's like, how do you actually get people to come to landing pages where they really get a good understanding of your products. The second key is community building, which I'm going to come back to in a moment. The third key is partnerships, right? Like how do you build partnerships out so you've got all the partners working with you as well? And then the fourth key is automation. Like how do you get your payment automation? How do you make it really super simple that you can track everything you're doing? So it's much easier as you grow to do this. And obviously Genius is doing all these four things for all of our businesses. And now we've got more and more other businesses coming and joining us as well and doing them too. And we're kind of explaining how we do each of these things. And then as a result, all the people that jump onto this and become part of it, we kind of take them through the four keys over the 4 weeks of January, right? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing with a whole group that come on board and do that with us. On the community building side, we're like really super clear on what it is to build a community, right? So the very, very first thing is make it really, really clear what is it to be a member of your community? Like what are the benefits? What does someone get in terms of an identity? So when we have people join our partner community, for example, they get to know that they're going to be like treated specially in a particular way with certain tools that no one else is going to be getting, with certain certifications that no one else gets, right? So like that makes them special and it makes them something to say, I want to be a part of that community. Huge difference of like just consuming a product and being a consumer compared to being a co-creator, which is what someone in a community is. It's like, hey, I want to be heard. I want to be someone that actually helps to co-create the space that we are in together. And so for you to say, well, what is it for someone to join my community? What does that mean in terms of what that allows them to become or allows them to validate themselves with, and by being a member of my community that they wouldn't get if they weren't part of it, right? The second thing is what is the ease of onboarding, which means that how easy is it for them to come on board and get initiated in what are you going to be sending them, what are you going to be sharing with them to get started, how quickly can they get up to speed? Because if you don't get up to speed quickly, you'll lose them before they even get started. Right? They're like, wow, this is just too difficult, right? But if there's some really easy, simple steps, like, oh, I get this, and then I'm in, then that's super awesome because it allows you to then actually have people have an onboard ramp into your community. The third thing is then about your nurturing rhythm. Like what is the rhythm by which people then get touch points with you? Are you sending out a weekly newsletter? Are you getting in contact people every week? What's the experience that they experience by being on board, which is what then allows them to be more and more engaged and more connected with you as well, right? So really critical that you have that in place. Fourth thing is what's the mechanism by which people can bring other people on board and that people also have to earn their way in, right? So this is about how now does your community actually bring others in the community? Because if you don't figure that one out, you're going to be the one having to do it all yourself, right? So what's the steps in which you actually have got them coming on board? And that's all also to do with not just referrals, but also repeat business. Like how much when people are in your community, are they actually engaging in terms of spending money with you and making this a profitable community, right? So if it's just a community where everyone's just hanging out and no one's actually buying anything, then you're going to find the money somewhere else to look after the community. But if they're buying things as they go, it becomes self-sustaining, which means the whole thing then pays for itself. And the final thing is how do people exit? Like how do you get people out the door who are the wrong people? So too many communities get started and it's all great at the beginning, but because there's no actual clear exit, then what happens is the wrong people hang around. They then poison the community for everyone else. And it isn't long before all your most active people stop being active because they go, I don't like being in this community. And you often, it happens so quickly sometimes, you often won't even realize that there's an issue in the community until suddenly it's too late and everyone's gone, right? And it's normally because like just a number of people who are the wrong people that are in there. You need to have an elegant way to actually be able to let them go, knowing that there's a code of conduct, knowing there's an expiration date when you actually get to choose who stays on or who gets renewed. And it's up to you to decide who you fire so that you can then actually bring others in who are the right people as well, right? Those are the 5 elements. Okay, let's come over to our green level questions. We have here Naomi, who says, I've been relying on income from my plumbing business to fund my therapy training and other expenses. I taught someone to be a gas plumber and take over the tools work for me. I'm concerned he'll want to go it alone so he can make more money himself or make it cheaper for customers. So this income feels precarious. Should I put time and effort into making it more solid, or should I put all my effort into the therapy since this is my passion? So Naomi, it's a little bit of both. A business is only a business. A business is only a business when you have a team that can be making money for you. Until then, it's just a job. So it feels to me like your plumbing was just a job where you got someone else to do that job, and now you're like, right, now I can go do the therapy, right? And that is dangerous because it means that you're pretty much giving your job to somebody else. And if that person says, well, wait, I'm not even earning what I should be earning this job because Naomi's still taking a chunk of my money, of course they're going to go and do it on their own, right? That's going to absolutely happen. But then if you say, all right, what would I need to do with my team or with this company which would make that person actually want to stay with me for longer, right? So to actually put a little bit of your effort into saying, I'm going to help to actually get the business, right? Because I know how to get the business. I'm going to get enough business that I could have not just one plumber, but 2 plumbers that would actually be busy with me, right? So I've just put that extra effort in to do that. I don't have to be doing the plumbing anymore. So I've actually got more time to do that marketing anyway. I can actually double up with that marketing to show not only can I get more plumbers, but I can also then use that marketing effort for my therapy business, right? Because I'm thinking about my Facebook ads and I'm thinking about how I go out and actually connect with the market. But by doing that and bringing another plumber on board, right, one's less likely to go running off because they're going to realize that there's always someone else that can do that job. They're going to realize that there's new business coming in that you're helping them with, and they'd much rather be in a situation where they can just get that easy business without having to go and figure it out for themselves. And you're adding value to them that they can't get on their own. If you're not adding any value and they've got to go and do it all themselves, of course they're going to leave. But if you're adding enough value that they go, I'm better off being here than having to figure it out for myself, they're more likely to stay. And the good news is, even if they were to go, you've got the marketing funnel, so you can always bring someone else in that can take on that work, right? So you managing the front end, which is the marketing, the back end, which is the invoicing side, having someone in the team to support that plumber, and then a second plumber allows you to have an actual business, and then you can then grow that if you choose to, but it's enough that it will bring you income, and then you then put your time into the therapy business and allow yourself to grow. That's the way I would do it, and really, again, really important to know the difference of earning and profit. Earning is when it's your time turning into money because you've got a job. Profit is when you've got a team turning into money, and that's when you've got a business. And that's the distinction of the two. Okay, let's come over finally to Robin Greatback, who says, Roger, on the last Impact Investor call, you talked about your concept of city hubs and how they would be taking over from co-working hot seats. Since you have the team there with you, could you possibly elaborate on this, as I'm keen to align my co-working on the beach with that? Yes. So Robin, we are going to be launching our very first of our Genius Centrals. So our Genius Central is going to be a Genius Cafe together with an event space, together with a co-working space, and potentially with a co-living space as well. And the first one's going to be in London, and then the second one's going to be in Singapore. And then we're going to start licensing it out. So we already are working with a number of our Crystal Circle members. We have Lee Pemberton, who already has got like a short list of a place that he's found in London. So when I'm in London in December, I'm going to go have a look. And we're going to look and say, okay, like how quickly can we actually get ourselves our spot started up, where we're not having to charge for all the seat space because we're already making money from the cafe. And then to take the Genius Cafe concept that many of you have been at, that already is in Bali and in South Africa, and bring that to London, I think it's going to be super awesome. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's the time frame. It's going to happen pretty quick. I reckon the first quarter of next year, we're going to be well into this already. And more importantly, the business model really stacks up. It works really, really well, where plenty of people will be wanting to use a cafe already. And then from there, people that want a hot seat and have their space can do it with a membership. We've got a membership we're launching called Genius Citizen, which allows you to actually just have a space wherever you want to go around the world, get connected in with everything that we're doing. But at the same time, know that you're doing it without all that real high expense of having to kind of like pay for your seat, right? That's going to be a whole different shift in the model, which I think is going to happen to co-working everywhere. And it happened exactly the same as anything else when it starts. You've got to start by having to physically pay for it, like pay for access to the internet, pay for your email address, to a point where all that stuff just becomes free. And then it's all about basically pay as you play with other things that then show up off the back of it. And that's what we're going to be doing to really change the co-working model from what it is today and really build it around community. That's it, guys. Just from all the things I said, if there's anything that I was sharing on some of our initiatives that you're interested in, keep in touch with us on the things that we're up to and what we're doing. You know, all the people in the team as well. Welcome to all the new GEM members that are here as well. And we have got a super exciting month ahead. See you in Bali if you're coming for one of our programs there. And otherwise, we'll catch up with you on our next GEM call. I am now going to go and get ready for our talk here in Port Elizabeth. Enjoy your month, and we'll catch up with you all later. See you later, guys. Bye.